Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Same Person Radio's first ever podcast. I am one of your hosts, Steven, and my other host, Justin.
Hello.
We just wanted to go ahead and start a podcast that is for just the regular guys and gals out there, just normal people that aren't going to specialize in anything. We both have full time jobs we do as a day to day basis, but we just wanted to talk about some stuff and go over things that you may talk about with your friends that maybe you don't have any friends that you want to talk about with. So
I know I don't.
yeah,
Other than you.
obviously other than me. So we're going to talk about a few different things: the Nintendo Switch, talk a little bit about the NFL, and just a few other things. That's pretty much how our podcast is going to work. Just random topics, that we've thought about throughout the week. We wanted to maybe discuss or things like that. So we'll go ahead with introductions, Justin.
Yeah, my name's Justin. I'm from the Chicago area, not the getting shot area, but the northern suburbs, almost Wisconsin. And I'm 28 years old. I sell automotive paint for a living, which is whatever. And just recently had a child, my first one. It's a son. His name is Phoenix, and married, obviously. So, I mean, other than that, that's really about it about me. I mean, you'll learn as you hear from me.
You sound like a pretty interesting guy.
Oh, I'm sure.
My name is Steven. I am 27. I am in the DC metro area. Not in the DC area that you get shot, but Southern Maryland area, right outside. I actually work for a PR company, doing PR software installation. So that's what I do. I do not have a baby, but I am married. So maybe we'll see. We'll see if one's on the way sometime within the next year or so. So that's my introduction.
I've already learned something about us now. We both live near areas where you can get shot pretty readily.
Hey, that's look at that. Another thing to add to the hashtag same person. The reason that we are called the Same Person Radio, for people who are interested, is that Justin and I met through a video game called Destiny online. Playing via Xbox, and we've come to find out that we are basically the same person. We like a lot of the new things, dislike a lot of the same things, and we're basically just the same person in different areas of the country. So,
but yet you'll see we have different opinions.
we do have differing opinions. We are not twins, but we are the same person. So. We'll go ahead and move into our first topic of today: the Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switcheroo.
So yeah, we're going to talk about just the overall idea, a few different things, what our thoughts are on it. You want to start off, Justin, for this one?
Yeah, sure. So basically, after the Nintendo Wii U, that whole thing went down, and obviously it didn't go as well as they planned. They have now come up with this new thing that they announced, I believe, in October. They had a little teaser trailer that kind of showed off the general idea of it. But basically, I believe it was a week ago Friday, that they revealed it more in depth. And basically what it is, it's what they're calling a hybrid console, where it's not just a home console, not just a handheld or portable console, but it's both in one. So basically, if you want to play these games on your TV, you can do that. If you want to take it on the go, you can do that. Not for very long, but you can do that. And it also has kind of the Wiimote thing from the Nintendo Wii kind of also thrown in there as the controller, which there's different configurations, which we'll get to, but basically they announced it. It's going to be $299.99 for the console when it comes out on, I think it's March 3rd.
Yeah, I believe that's
right. March, that's right. And then it's going to launch with Zelda and basically like 4 other games at day one, which is kind of something we'll get to in a minute. But basically that's the general gist of it, is that it's $299. It's basically both portable, both home console. You can use it as both. You can use it as one, other. There's different controller configurations, like I was talking about a minute ago, where you could have, basically 2 Wiimotes, or kind of thing. They're calling them the Joy-Con controllers. It's basically, they're almost a little smaller than the old Wiimotes, but basically same thing. They have gyroscopes. They have distant hybrid, vibration. The different vibrations thing, where it's some technology which honestly will probably get used at first for a few games that Nintendo makes, and then as time goes on, they'll probably just ditch it. So not really use it, because that's usually how things go with that type of stuff, unfortunately. It'll probably be really cool, but whatever.
Yeah.
And
Overall, the concept, I think the concept is a really good idea. If you're playing on your home console, you got to go take a poop. You could just pick the console up and take it with you into the bathroom, and finish that mission you're doing on Zelda, or finish that level on Mario when that eventually comes out. So I like the general idea. And once they kind of announced it at the event that you had said last week, it made it seem a little bit like an even better idea once they showed the workings of it. But like you said, at launch it's only going to have 4 games, one of them being Zelda, which is the main game that they've been promoting with it. So Zelda looks pretty cool, but other than that, they don't have much on the docket as far as what you're able to play, which is very disconcerting for somebody looking to get it early in its life cycle.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I pre-ordered it, but it was only because GameStop was running a trade-in deal where if you traded in the Wii U, which I did have, you got an extra, I think, $75 trade-in value if you were a Power Up reward member. So I was like, okay, well, this thing's just going to collect dust, so I might as well just do this now instead of waiting for other games to come out. But I'm pretty much already kind of settled with the idea of that I'm going to play Zelda, and then once I'm done with that, it's probably going to collect dust till Splatoon comes out or Mario, and it's that part of it worries me. I'm hoping around E3 they announce some more games, like a lot more games, because they're not going to have the third-party support. They will at launch, but as time goes on, probably just like the Wii U, it'll fall off unless it's like a randomly just a huge success. I don't really see it getting a bunch of third-party support. So I'm hoping that they bring it from the first-party games, because that's mostly why people buy Nintendo consoles anyways.
Right. And one thing to touch on the third party support is that we've seen that at the event they announced that FIFA will be coming to the Switch, and NBA Live, I believe, or NBA 2K, one of the NBA
Yeah,
games.
so I think it was 2K, yeah.
Yeah, will be coming to the Switch. But one thing that I saw a little bit earlier last week from one of the executives at EA US is that he mentioned that in a very kind of cryptic note that while FIFA will be coming to the Switch, it's not definitely a guarantee that it will be a multi-year type thing. So I think we may see the first 2018 FIFA on the Switch this year towards maybe probably September, I believe is when FIFA comes out. But maybe next year they might not even have it. So they do have some initial third-party support, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be stuff that's made specifically for the Switch. It seems like it's going to be ports of stuff that's made for either PC, PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, which doesn't for the
Yeah.
Switch.
Yeah, that's the thing with me too, is like this kind of happened with the Wii U when it came out. It had, a version of Madden, it had a version of, I believe, even FIFA. But as time went on, EA just was kind of like, it's not worth the time for us to make our games for this. And then the other thing I've been noticing, I can't think of one off the top of my head right now, but there's some games coming out that are third party, like Skyrim, for instance. That doesn't come out till fall of 2017, and it just came out on Xbox One and PS4 this previous fall. So that's kind of a little alarming, because it kind of seems like, well, that wasn't, you think they would have done all that kind of around the same time. And I mean, if Skyrim would have been a launch title, for people that haven't played it already, I mean, it's been out a long time. It just got remastered. But maybe if you've been exclusively a Nintendo gamer, you haven't played it, now you got to wait another, 8, 9, 10 months to play that game. And it's kind of like, well, why isn't this? It should have been a launch title in my mind. And what probably happened is they were focusing more on getting the Xbox One and PS4 versions done because they knew those would sell. So That's just unfortunately the reality with this. So they really got to hope that it comes out of the gate and the Switch is successful and sells well, because that'll draw more third parties. But in the meantime, it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah, I think the initial sales numbers will look okay, but it's mostly going to be from Nintendo hopefuls and people like you that pretty much got it for not free, but you had recycled money with the Wii U and trade-ins that get it. So like somebody like me, I thoroughly enjoy the idea. I would have liked to seen more games, maybe a Pokemon game, one or two of those, either close to launch or at least announced. They announced Mario, but that's not coming out until holiday 2017, so that's another 11 months away. So I mean, I will maybe eventually get it depending on how the games come, but it will probably be maybe a year or so before I end up looking at it. Hopefully, we'll have some packages, some maybe holiday gift sets that they have, which include a game and some extra controllers or things like that. But it's definitely, I think, either or. You're either definitely getting it or you're not even really thinking about getting it. I don't see too many on the fences because there's not much to sway you one way or the other.
Yeah, because honestly, if I didn't have the Wii U trade-in deal, I would have probably just waited till Mario comes out. Because I'm pretty sure they'll have a Mario bundle come, Christmas time next year.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
The other thing too is they're making Mario Kart, but it's basically just Mario Kart 8 from the Wii U with they brought the battle mode back that was all Mario Kart 64. If you've ever played, the multiplayer battle mode, it's basically that. They brought that back, which was something people wanted forever, but now the only way you can get it is if you get the Switch. But so it's like there's like Splatoon, from what I've also read, is basically it's basically the original Splatoon, but it's just they added some new weapons. And they're calling it Splatoon 2, so that kind of seems like it's just a port up, and they just made some changes to kind of make it new.
Right, gave you some additional DLC with slapping a 2 on it.
Right, and it seems like I've heard rumors they're gonna do that with Smash Brothers and a few other games from Wii U. So it's kind of like, okay, what's really actually going on here? My other concern is the Virtual Console, because they announced nothing about that. Same thing with the online, because I kind of thought it was weird how so online for now is actually coming this fall. Their online service is going to cost money. They haven't told you how much. They haven't really even told you what you're going to get with it or why you should pay for it. They have said that you're going to get a Nintendo or Super Nintendo game to play that'll have added multiplayer support, but it's only for that month. After that month, you do not have it. So unlike the Xbox One and PS4, when you get, you pay for their their online service, you get a game, and as long as you have the service, it's yours. You own it, basically. Not really own it, because if you lose the service, then you don't have that game anymore. But for intents and purposes, most people that play online games are going to own those games for the life of that console. Right. Whereas with the Nintendo one, they haven't said how much it's going to cost. So if it's less money, then that's one thing. But if it's the same price, if it's $50, $60, $70, and basically it's just to play games online, and and there's a bunch of weird stuff with the online stuff. They kind of announced like this is what we're doing, but they didn't say anything about it, which I kind of thought was weird. I almost feel like it'd just been a better move just to say nothing for now until they're ready to announce the whole thing, because it kind of just made people ask more questions. So I don't know, that was kind of weird. But Nintendo's kind of weird like that. They're almost in their own little world. I don't think I wouldn't say they don't care about what the Xbox One, PS4 are doing, but they're going to do what they want to do, and that's basically they're hoping their fans will like it.
Yeah, they're kind of like Apple in a sense that they see what the market is, and they kind of see, they see the overall general consensus of where video games are at and what people want and, what people think about them. But they're going to do their own thing. And, if they can get add-ons like third-party games and things like that, then they're sure, fine. They'll love it. It just adds to their bonus. But in places like Japan, where Nintendo is going to be, number one, that's what they're going to make what they want, and they know that their fans will and appreciate it and enjoy it no matter what. So, I wish it was a little bit more of they kind of want to cater more to what the people want, but they're living in their own little world, which is, hey, it's worked for them for 30 plus years. So, more power to them. Yeah.
I guess to wrap this up, I'm cautiously excited for the Nintendo Switch. I love the idea itself. I'm just really worried because I bought a Wii U. Not early on. I got it when the Mario Kart 8 came out because there was a big bundle with that, and I got it then. And me and my wife played for a little while, maybe a few months. We played Mario Party, and that came up the console a lot. And then kind of just after that, it just kind of just went away. We just didn't really. It just sat on the shelf, collected dust. Because really nothing was coming out for it that I wanted. There was never a Metroid game. There's a bunch of stuff that I really was hoping they would come out with, Pokemon game even. And, really what I'm hoping is, so they had Pokemon Sun and Moon, if they come out with like a Pokemon Stars like they do, where they have like the third game that kind of combines both of them. Yeah. And I'm hoping that that'll be for the Switch and the 3DS.
So that may be enough to just put me over the edge and make me get it.
Right. Because if they're saying it's not taking over the 3DS is still going to have stuff coming. They basically said the Wii U is dead, but I'm hoping that because it is also portable that they keep that in mind and maybe bring finally a Pokemon game that's like the 3DS or even the old Game Boy games, a new one of those, maybe with really good graphics even for the Switch, because that would be something they could do, and people have been asking for that for a long time. So
yeah, we definitely.
Overall, I'm hoping that's what they do. They haven't done that so far, but. So I'm cautiously excited.
Right. No, hashtag same person. That's exactly what what I'm thinking is that I like the idea. I wish there was more games to play, especially even Zelda. Zelda apparently was just a port from the Wii U with a few added features for the Switch.
Mhm.
So, um, we'll see how they come out. June is E3. I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more between now and then on a few of the games that they'll be announcing for the rest of this year, maybe into early next year. But as far as the Switch goes, we'll see if it has the ability to switch my opinion.
Oh, all right.
What a punster.
Oh, you would make a good dad with those dad jokes.
Exactly. I'm dad joke central. That's what I'm all about. All right, so we are going to move on to our next segment, which is one that we thought about, which would be pretty interesting. You see in a lot of places. We are going to call this Crossfire. Crossfire, you can count the Crossfire. And so with our Crossfire segment, what we're going to do is Justin and I have come up with 5 different topics each, and we haven't shown them to each other. And what we're going to do is I will say one topic, and Justin will give me a response within 5 seconds of maybe a word, few words on what he thinks about it, and we'll keep going back and forth. If you don't get it out within 5 seconds, you will be buzzed.
All right.
So Justin, go ahead and you can start it off. And this is rapid fire, so we'll try to get it going and keep it as fast as possible.
All right. So the Steelers have had a busy week. They had some drama surrounding Antonio Brown live streaming. They had a flu bug kind of go through the thing, and then this morning, a Boston man pulled the fire alarm early in the morning at their hotel. Do you think this will affect their performance on Sunday?
No, Big Ben will be ready to go. They're going to get the win.
All right.
My first topic is the inauguration of a president. We're not going to talk too much into politics on this show because politics are stupid, but in general, it is a big event in America. So I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on this.
All right. Basically, it happened, and I hope he does well for the country. And if not, all right, well, we're all dead.
There we go. All right.
All right. So James Cameron's going to regain the Terminator rights in 2019 and is reportedly looking for Deadpool director Tim Miller to run it. Do you think that's a good thing to do?
No. Leave it alone. Terminator, leave it alone.
Just leave it be.
Leave it be. All right. LuLaRoe.
LuLaRoe. Well, my wife's looking to sell it. As a man, I like it. It seems like it's quality clothing. It's soft. It's nice. And that's basically it. That's good stuff. It's expensive, but it's fine.
Yeah.
So MacRumors.com is saying that the next iPhone won't have a home button.
Fine with it. Sure, they'll come up with something.
Right. I mean, the one now is basically, if you turn your phone off, it's not even a button anyways. It's just
exactly. Movie and TV remakes of old things such as Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, things like that.
I'm a sucker for that type of stuff. It's fine. As long as they do the original thing justice. They don't go and change a bunch of crap. It's usually fine. It can be bad, but usually it's fine.
Right.
So Destiny, the video game we play, said they will not do Crimson Doubles this year. Are you sad? Or are you happy? Or you don't care?
I'm sad. I liked Crimson Doubles. It made me feel like I was pretty good at the game. All right. Diet and exercise.
I need to do it more.
Hashtag same person.
Finally, Ryan Grigson was fired as the GM for the Colts yesterday. Thoughts?
About time.
Right.
I think to clean house, but about time. I saw an article that came out that said that both the GM, or I'm sorry, the GM and the coach had been given therapists.
Yeah.
So that's pretty bad. So my last one is Tom Brady.
He's probably one of the best players of all time. I don't know if he's best quarterback. I think that's probably Aaron Rodgers, but we'll get more into Brady in a minute here, I think. Yep,
that's actually a perfect segue into our second discussion, which is going to be all about the NFL. So we have the conference championships today with Green Bay and Atlanta. Green Bay at Atlanta and Pittsburgh at New England as the nightcap for that. So what are your thoughts on those two games?
All right, well, I'm a Chicago Bears fan, sadly, because that's the way it's been for last year. Sad. But I I've been pulling for Atlanta as on the NFC side for most of the playoffs, I'd say. I'm hoping Atlanta beats them. I think they can. I feel like Atlanta's got a higher power of offense to do it, and they got a little bit better defense than Dallas did last week. So I think Atlanta should probably edge it out. But then again, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, so I won't be surprised if they don't. I just think Green Bay's pass defense is going to catch up to him in this game. It almost caught up to him last week, but Rodgers does what Rodgers does again and made a huge pass on the side, and Jared Cook, Michael Jackson, that shit, and caught the ball. So
yeah, he definitely pulled the little MJ with the tiptoes. I think you're right that the pass defense for Green Bay is gonna eventually show that as their weakness. Last week Dallas didn't expose that weakness. Obviously,
at least not early enough.
Atlanta, I think, probably has the best passing game, maybe the best overall offense in the league, and so it's gonna show today. While Aaron Rodgers can be Aaron Rodgers, my prediction's gonna be Atlanta comes out on top, especially with it being a home game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be kind of like that Dallas game where it's close. But I think, like you said, were saying about Dallas, they figured it out how to beat them basically. But it was almost too late. They had to spend all that time catching up. If they could have kept that game closer earlier, maybe it's a different scenario. But unfortunately, that's not how it worked out for Dallas. And Dallas waits again. And the Bears do have more playoff wins than Dallas does in the last, I think, 20 years or something. So I can hang my hat on that.
Hey, there you go. I think the Redskins have the same amount of that.
I think there's like 20 teams or something. There's a picture I was seeing earlier this year. There's like 20. There's like the Jaguars, bunch of teams. So
hey, but we them boys, right?
Yeah,
So what would be your official prediction for Green Bay Atlanta?
I'm gonna go Atlanta 28, Green Bay 24.
Okay, so pretty close game. My prediction here is going to be 31 Green Bay, 38 Atlanta. I think it's going to be a high scoring game.
I could definitely see that. With
not a lot of defense. Moving on to the next game, we have Pittsburgh at New England. I am not a New England fan. I hate them. Had an old friend who was a fan, and while they may be good, a lot of people will probably call me a hater. I can't stand them. Just a bunch of jerks.
No, actually, my nightmare scenario for this is Green Bay and New England win, because then I literally be watching the Super Bowl and just hoping they just don't do anything.
Nobody wins.
Nobody wins. But they just play and play and play. And
right. The power goes out. Nobody can't finish the game. They call it a draw.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to the game, though. I think it's going to be really good. This is probably the first good quarterback that New England's faced in the last 10, 12 weeks, pretty much, with Big Ben. And they're looking to I think the Steelers are looking to prove something, that they've gotten close each year, but they just haven't gotten it. They haven't gotten back in a while since they played Green Bay, and I think it was 2010 for the Super Bowl there. So I think it'll be a good game. I'm looking for Antonio Brown to have a real big game.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking Le'Veon Bell might have a good game too as well. I think this is going to be another close game. I don't like the Patriots at all. Like I said, there's like Green Bay and New England are probably my at least two favorite teams. So, it is what it is. But I think New England's going to win this just because I don't know. I just have a gut feeling about it. I just think it's going to be New England in the Super Bowl.
I think it's really hard to bet against Brady in the playoffs.
I don't think it has anything to do with all the stuff that's happened to Pittsburgh this week. I think that's because I'm sure if Pittsburgh loses, that's going to be the storyline you see on SportsCenter is, okay, Pittsburgh lost, they had this happen, and I just think if they lose, it's just because they weren't the better team that day. It's going to be nothing to do with that.
Right, exactly, and I hope it doesn't come down to that. I hope it's a close game, and I hope that Pittsburgh comes out on top. My prediction for this game is going to be 24-21 Pittsburgh. I do want to see a Pittsburgh-Atlanta Super Bowl, as non-sexy as that may be to some people. It features two of the, I think, top maybe 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the NFL. It has the top two wide receivers in the NFL. Has maybe 2 of the top 5 running backs in the NFL. So definitely a high-powered offensive game if that's what it came down to. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, 2 decent defenses too. I mean, they're not top 5, I wouldn't say either of them, but they're both good. They're not terrible defenses in any rate.
Yeah, they know.
My prediction is actually 24-21 New England.
Okay.
I don't want that to be the result, but I'm just going with what I think. Now, the other thing that would be, if it was Green Bay New England, it would be kind of cool to see Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
I don't. Yeah,
top quarterback of all time discussion.
My wife is a Packers fan, so I would have to I would have to root for New England. I almost feel like, because I just would never hear the end of it if I did the other way. So I don't know. I just hope that's not happening. I hope Atlanta or Pittsburgh at least win, so I have someone to root for. But
yeah, no, I agree. It's yeah, I mean, either way, I think it's going to be a really good Super Bowl. I'm excited for Lady Gaga to do the halftime show for that. So it is definitely something we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we get 2 good games tonight. Next part of the NFL I wanted to talk about was the coaching. Was a coaching discussion, kind of go over the new coaches, because we've got a lot of interesting candidates that got jobs this year. We had, I think it's 6 different openings that we've had.
yeah,
This year, and 5 have been filled. One that we're still waiting on is the 49ers. But basically, from what we've heard, is that Kyle Shanahan, who is the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, has basically gotten the job. They just can't officially hire him or offer him the position until obviously Atlanta's done with the season, which hopefully isn't until 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, however it is, when they are in the Super Bowl. So the first one I do want to go over, obviously, since I'm a Redskins fan, and it kind of hurts more to me, is Sean McVay going to the Rams as the youngest head coach in NFL history at 31 years old. This guy's basically 3 or 4 years older than we are, and he's the head coach of an NFL football team. I mean, how many guys can say, my dream is to coach an NFL team, and they've done it before halfway to official retirement age is basically when this guy's getting a head coaching job, isn't in the NFL.
My only concern is that since he is so young, that maybe some of his older players just won't really.
Yeah, that was one thing for me.
I'm hoping that. I mean, you wouldn't think so,
right? He's going to have like 3 or 4 guys that are older than him that are playing for him. So he's got to be able to go in there and pretty much demand respect and say, look, I know you're older than me. I know you've been playing in this league longer than I've been coaching, but I have knowledge that you may not have, and you may have knowledge that I don't, and we can work together and
right.
Make it good. So
I'm also interested to see what he does with Jared Goff.
Oh yeah.
Or what he does in the quarterback position in general, because I really don't know what's going to happen there. Because Goff, he kind of looked okay in the one Saints game, but other than that, he's been kind of average.
Yeah, definitely. Doesn't look as good as Carson Wentz did. From when he did. I can't even say that Carson Wentz had a better offense than the Rams did, because the Rams had, I think, a better receiver than the Eagles.
Yeah, they had Kenny Britt, and and they also had Todd Gurley. I mean, although you can say that maybe he's the next Trent Richardson at this point after that season, but
right. So we'll see how that goes. With the Rams, the other ones, Doug Marrone to the Jaguars. He was their interim coach at the end of last year when they fired Gus Bradley. He was promoted to full-time head coach. Sean McDermott, who was the Panthers defensive coordinator, went to the Bills. That just seems like a shitty situation to go to. Like I'd mentioned before, Kyle Shanahan most likely going to the 49ers. We'll see once he's done. One that kind of surprised me was Anthony Lynn to the Chargers. The hot name from the Buffalo Bills defensive coordinator. He took over for Rex Ryan in the last game of Buffalo's season this year. But he's going to the Chargers, who are moving to LA and taking over a team that has potential but had a lot of injuries last year.
Yeah, really the Chargers, as bad as they were this year, they lost Keenan Allen in the beginning there. They lost Danny Woodhead pretty early on. They lost Verrett, the corner. I mean, they lost a bunch of players there pretty early on in the season. I forget the number, but they had a ton of people that went to IR. And it was one of the things where they probably would have been more. Yeah, they would have been competitive in that division, I think, because Broncos really weren't that great. I mean, KC was pretty good. Oakland was obviously pretty good, but so maybe they wouldn't have won the division, but I think they would have been at least in the playoff hunt if they could have stayed a little bit healthier. Although they did lose to the Browns, but
yeah, right, exactly.
But I'm hoping, offensively, Rivers is getting older. They do got Gordon now, who's proved now on year 2 that he can make the next step and be good, because he was really good this year. So
he can get into the end zone, people.
It's not. Yeah, he's not allergic to it. So
right, exactly.
Ultimately, what I think is that if he can get that defense, looking a little bit better, since it seems like he's more of a defensive-minded coach, that maybe the Chargers in 2-3 years in LA is a successful team. I don't think they'll be successful next year. I mean, they'll be probably better but I don't think they'll be night and day better.
I think with Oakland and Kansas City looking how they're looking, and Denver, depending on how Denver's quarterback situation plays out, that division will probably be up for grabs for the next few years. As long as Phillip Rivers is the quarterback there, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
The last coaching change, Vance Joseph to the Broncos. He was the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins. It's a hot topic this year. Is defensive coordinators getting head coaching jobs?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Broncos head coaching position is kind of a curious one because Gary Kubiak, while they didn't make the playoffs, they did play pretty well. So it's not like the other situations, the 49ers, the Bills, the Jaguars, the Rams, where they were terrible teams, so they obviously had to replace their coach. But the Broncos were a pretty good team. The defense is top, maybe the best defense in the league, but Gary Kubiak decided to retire, so they're stuck there trying to find the replacement, and hopefully they can get Vance Joseph to take over that role.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they went with a defensive guy, just because they wanted to keep that defense intact. Pass defense, they were absolutely the best. Run defense, as the season went on, they kind of weren't the best, but they still were just good enough on defense where they were. So I think they had to be the top-ranked defense. But maybe KC was up there too. But Vance, I don't know. I just don't know about it because he came from the Chargers, correct?
Dolphins. He was the Dolphins.
Oh, Dolphins. You're right, Dolphins. So Dolphins D, I'm thinking about their defense. I'm like, yeah, they were okay. And I mean, I don't know, just kind of a interesting signing. I guess we'll see how it plays out. Sometimes those signings where it's a guy that you don't know too much about. Also, they end up being really good. So we'll see what happens there.
Exactly. Yep. So talking about Anthony Lynn with the Chargers, they are moving to Los Angeles to be with the Rams in a kind of a shocking situation because we thought about it. We were kind of maybe expecting it, but they hadn't done it last year when the Rams did, and so they finally. Their owner Spanos, I believe, decided to pull the trigger, and they're moving on to Los Angeles. Excuse me. So excited to see that. I think it's pretty funny that they only get to play in a stadium of only about 30,000 people, I believe, the StubHub Center there. So it's kind of odd to see something like that when you've got stadiums like Jerry World down in Dallas or even FedEx Field, in DC, where it's 70 to 80,000 people, and you're going less than half of that. It'll definitely be a change for the players.
Yeah. I knew that this was probably coming. There was, they were given that option. It's kind of weird how we went from 0 teams in Los Angeles to 2 all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Right.
It's kind of strange. I don't know. It's just, but it's like, yeah, well, all right. I mean, I'm not a Chargers fan. I'm sure if you were, you'd be kind of a little pissed, but it's from what I saw, just from San Diego to LA is not really the worst drive in the world. So, I mean, I guess if you're a Chargers fan, at least they're kind of close by still. But it seems like a lot of fans are, pissed off, which, I mean, obviously, if the Bears say also they moved to St. Louis for some reason, I would be a little bit pissed. I wouldn't be very happy with that decision because now they're always, hours away when they were right here. So I don't know if I'd stop rooting for them. I mean, but it's one of those.
It all depends on how deep your love goes for your team with them, relocating, obviously. The other move is from Oakland. The Raiders are moving to Las Vegas, which is kind of a weird, doesn't seem like a sports town. Obviously, sports betting, yes, but not a sports town. So they'll join, I believe, the Golden Knights of the new NHL team that'll be coming. So Las Vegas will be going from 0 to 2 professional sports teams. So California loses 1 and Nevada gains 1. It's kind of weird to see a team go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I actually think that's kind of cool. Cooler than the San Diego to LA, just because it's like, all right, same. Now we have 2 teams in LA. Like, okay, cool, whatever. But like Las Vegas, like, okay, that's like a new frontier almost for football. There's never been a Las Vegas NFL team, so it's kind of cool. And I know Oakland is kind of not the greatest area in the whole wide world.
Right.
So going to Las Vegas, it'd be kind of cool. You and your buddies or whoever go for a weekend, see a Raiders game. Go gambling, do a bunch of fun stuff, and I don't know. It just kind of seems like a cool idea. I don't know. It's kind of exciting actually.
It is pretty exciting, to think about that. we're getting a new football team in a completely new environment. Maybe their fans won't be fighting each other in the stands when they get to Las Vegas. Like you see a lot of videos online of Raiders fans, beating each other up just because some guy looked at them the wrong way, or whatever they like to do over there in Oakland. So we'll see how those go. The last thing for the NFL that I wanted to talk about is the MVP discussion. I think pretty much the top 3 candidates for this MVP discussion are still playing today. And so, I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on it.
My thoughts are that people saying Ezekiel Elliott was even in the conversation, it's kind of silly to me because I don't even think he was the best running back, much less MVP of his team. The MVP of his team, if I could honestly give the MVP award to a group, it would be the Dallas Cowboys offensive line because they made Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott look like they were one of the best players at each position. I have a hunch that if you took that skill level of their offensive line down, that they would regress quite a bit.
Right.
Now,
you put those two behind the Bears or Redskins offensive line.
Yeah,
they're not looking that good.
Exactly. Now, I'm not saying that they're not talented people, but I mean, I think Elliott's probably talented as he is, but he's definitely getting a lot of help from that line. Now, that being said, the person I think should win it is I really want Matt Ryan to win it. I think that he's got, if you look at his numbers, they're pretty damn good. And honestly, Tom Brady, he didn't play the first, 4 games?
Yep.
And they were fine. They were in 3-1. So it's like, okay, well, I don't think you can even say he's the most valuable. I just feel like I think Bill Belichick is the most valuable thing on that team. Makes that thing work. So, and Aaron Rodgers, I think, would be a good choice as well. He's probably my second choice. But I think Matt Ryan, because I think if you take Matt Ryan away, I think that whole team looks a hell of a lot different.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Matt Ryan's actually my choice, for my pick for MVP, followed by Rodgers and Brady. So again, probably hashtag same person.
I was gonna say, well, there we go.
Yep.
No discussion there.
But yeah, like you said, I mean, if you take Matt Ryan away, I think Matt Schaub may be his backup again. I don't know if he went back there, but I mean, yes, they have Julio Jones. Yes, they have Devonta Freeman. They have Tevin Coleman. They've got some weapons on offense, but I don't know if you put somebody else in that situation, that isn't top tier like Matt Ryan, that you get the same type of production and then they do as well as they did. I think with his, people kind of fearing him a little bit, it kind of opened up for the run game and it opened up for, different things for the offense to do. So, I mean, and just looking at his stats, he was first overall in total quarterback rating, according to ESPN. A little bit ahead of Tom Brady by only 0.2. But like you said, Tom Brady only didn't play the first 4 games. He only played 12 games. While he did only throw 2 interceptions in 12 games, that's a pretty good stat line. But we, like you said, they were 3-1 without Tom Brady. So it wasn't like they they really needed him. And again, they didn't play any good quarterbacks, as we mentioned earlier, talking about the conference championships. So, we'll see how it turns out. I think Matt Ryan should get it. I don't know if Tom Brady will get it just because of his beef with Roger Goodell. So we'll see how it turns out. In the next few weeks when we get the official notice.
Another person that I would throw in the discussion. And I know he won't win it, and I just think he should be at least on the list, is Derek Carr, because when he went away, that team became garbage, literal garbage in the playoffs. That team was not good at all once he was gone. They had no shot of winning that game.
If you look at what MVP actually stands for, most valuable player to their team, Derek Carr, like you said, you take that away and they just shit the bed. They just –
yeah, they were – and that's what I kind of feel like would happen if Ryan went down. If he would have went down earlier in the seasons, because then I kind of feel like, okay, so if it's Schaub, I think you're right, it is Schaub, I think. If it's Schaub, then he's throwing, maybe he still does decent enough, but I feel like then the run game's not going to be as running as well because they're going to have, 8 in the box a lot more because they're not scared of Schaub. And, that whole team changes. Rodgers, the same thing. His backup is, I don't remember I can see his face. I just can't.
Brett Hundley?
That's it, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just think, same situation there, but their running game really isn't that impressive right now anyways, even with Rodgers. So
right, they're using a converted wide receiver as the top running back. So
you're right. So that's thinking. That's why I'm like, I think Ryan edges out Rodgers, but like I was just mentioning Derek Carr because I feel like he was in the discussion and then he got hurt and then he just went off the list. And I kind of feel like, okay, well, it's kind of, he didn't play the last few games, but Brady didn't play the first few. So, I mean, I don't think he should have won, but he definitely proved that he was one of the most valuable player to his team, at least.
Yeah, no, he's definitely in the discussion as getting to, the top tier of quarterbacks that we have. So I think, in the next few years, we'll probably see a Derek Carr MVP, or maybe at least offensive player of the year, something like that. So I think we will definitely see that. So that will end our NFL discussion, and we're going to move on to the next segment, which we'll do every week, every podcast. Is kind of, we're going to call it like a life rant. Pretty much, Justin or I will alternate each week and just kind of go over one thing that's annoyed us, or that it pretty much grinds our gears, so to speak, of something that we just kind of experience. In everyday life. This week will be me. Next week will be Justin. And then, like I said, we'll alternate. But my life rant this week, again, we're not going to do too much into politics, but is the inauguration of the presidency. I don't care who you voted for. I'm not going to tell you who I voted for. It doesn't really matter, I think. But the thing that bugs me is that when people say that Donald Trump isn't their president, or they wish that he fails, and things like that, to where they're demeaning to that position, what it shows me is that you're not really being an American, because you're hoping that the leader of your country fails. But if that happens, then your country will fail. And it's basically, it's just showing that you don't believe in the system. You don't, think that democracy is the right way to go. And it just pretty much, to me, shows that people are being crybabies. Yes, you can voice your opinion that you don't like them, and that you wish that the other person would have won, or wish that somebody else would have taken the position. But honestly, you shouldn't want the leader of your country to fail. You should hope that he can do some things right, and you can hope that people maybe convince him to do things in a different way than what you expect him to do. But just in general, you can't say that he's not your president anymore, because he is your president. America voted for him. So, I think it's just we should be able to move forward as one country. We have a leader. We should back that leader, and hopefully things will go out well. So that's about as much politics as we'll hopefully talk about in this show. But it just bugged me that people want the country to fail, essentially. So just want a little rant on that. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Justin.
Yeah, just I kind of echo that. I mean, obviously, you want to be successful in, growing the economy, growing jobs, doing all the general things. So hopefully he keeps that going good. I mean, there's some, you don't have to support everything he does, but you shouldn't hope that he completely fails terribly, I feel like. I mean, I'll go on and say that I'm not really a fan of him personally, but, if he can get things done, if he can make things, I'm going to give him a chance, though. I feel like a lot of people I know that didn't vote for him are kind of like, just like, excuse my language, but fuck this guy. I don't really, whatever. But I'm kind of like, all right, I'm going to keep an open mind as much as I possibly can, give him a chance to actually do some things and see what he does, and then make a judgment call on him. So hopefully he does good things, and that's really basically it. I mean, like you said, politics are doo-doo.
Right, politics are doo-doo. So we'll get immediately off of that one. We'll have a different rant next week from Justin on something that bugs him in everyday life. Get on to our last discussion of today, is, since we're early in 2017, kind of go over just some movies and movie trailers that we saw recently. For movies that are coming out this year. There's a few that, for me, being 27, Power Rangers was a big part of my childhood. And the second trailer just came out, Justin, and it looks real good, at least to me.
Yeah, the first trailer, I was kind of like, okay, is this just Chronicle? Like, what's going on here?
Right, yeah.
Like, am I just watching Chronicle 2 and they're just making it Power Rangers? Then the second one came out, and I'm a lot more excited than I was. I'm still a little cautiously excited. I have a feeling that it's going to be my favorite bad movie this year. Like, it might just be a bad movie that I just like.
It might be your 2017's version of Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone said that movie was trash. I liked it. I was just like, all right, well, whatever. I'm kind of easy to please when it comes to stuff like that, so I'm sure I'll enjoy it. There's a brief glimpse of what Goldar looked like, and that was kind of weird, but the Megazord looked pretty cool. The suits look fine enough for me.
Yeah.
It looks like it'll actually be pretty good. It looks like it's, obviously when we were kids, Power Rangers was a little more younger aimed, and this seems like it's still got a little bit of that, but they've also are trying to get people like you and I to also be interested in it. So I'm kind of interested to see how that story actually shapes up.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that comes out in March of this year, so we'll see towards the end of March. So I'll definitely be seeing that for the release weekend. Another trailer that actually came out the same day that Power Rangers did is the second trailer for Logan, which is the finale to the Wolverine saga, and the first few trailers for that one for me were looked okay. I'd obviously go see it because it's Logan, but it looked more of a story-based type thing. And then this second trailer, just balls to the wall, X-23 murdering people, just destroying everybody, and it definitely looks like it's going to be one of the best movies of the year.
Oh yeah, I am super excited for that. I'm a huge X-Men fan, even though some of the movies have been kind of meh. Like Apocalypse was okay, I liked it, but like I said, easy to please when it comes to stuff like that. And so when I originally heard about this and they said it was going to be rated R, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then now I'm looking and like, oh man, this is going to be really, really good. It's going to be like, I think it's going to be like how Deadpool was rated R. It was more kinds of like, it was violence, but it was also more of the comedic content. Yeah. I think that this is going to be like that, but for like the action part, it's going to take advantage of.
Right. It may not have as much comedy as Deadpool, but I think there will be some adult themed things. In the movie that will definitely earn it its rated R content.
I'm really excited for that.
Yes. So some other ones just to go off my list. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Obviously, loved the first one. Probably maybe my top 1 or 2 Marvel films so far is Guardians of the Galaxy. So definitely excited for the second one. I'm excited for Wonder Woman. I thought Gal Gadot did a great job in Batman Superman. She obviously looks pretty good. And so I'm excited to see that one. And then Spider-Man Homecoming. Definitely one of my top movies to see. Excited for this year.
Yeah, all 3 of those I'm really excited for. I believe also Justice League comes out later in the year, I believe, but there hasn't been a trailer for it or anything yet. It may have actually been delayed. I don't remember actually what's going on with that because they're really trying to figure all that stuff out. And then other Marvel movies is what's the next Marvel
Spider-Man Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I know that Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, that was the other one
coming out in November, and that will have Thor. And from what we've heard rumor-wise is that he will be fighting with and against the Hulk in that movie. So definitely we'll look forward to that one. That's later in the year. We also have Beauty and the Beast for all you Disney lovers out there. I will admit that I am excited for Beauty and the Beast. I do love me some Disney movies. I also love me some Emma Watson. So looking forward to that. Well, and then obviously we'll see what other movies come out.
Yeah, I forgot about that Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, I was definitely excited for that one myself. There was another one that was I know the new Cars movie comes out. I've not really actually seen any of those, so I'm not really thinking of that. But
obviously you guys can tell that Justin and I like our nerdy, geeky movies with Disney, and, Power Rangers and Marvel and DC and things like that. So that's basically what we have for you guys on this podcast. Our first episode of Same Person Radio here. So thank you guys for listening. We will look to put out one probably every 2 weeks or so. So look forward to those. If you listened today and took the time to listen, we greatly appreciate it. And hopefully you guys will look for us and subscribe, and we'll see how the next one goes. So thanks, Justin, and thank you guys for listening.
All right, adios.